Guys, this is urgent information and we do not have much time. We are losing daylight and the gender cartel are out to get me. I've cracked the code. They told me it couldn't be done. They told me that you couldn't make a functional framework for gendered presentations of autism. They told me that it had been tried. They told me that they had failed. They didn't believe me. I've been working in secret for 13 years to create this framework for gender presentation in autism. Hey, it's me from the future. Just to let you know that yes, I am going to be out of focus for the whole video. Hopefully it doesn't distract you too much from the absolute fun that you're about to have, the wonderful time. Okay, thanks, bye. Something to clarify right off the bat is that I don't know how useful a word autism is really, so I'm going to be saying neurodivergent from here on out. I said autism, I put autism in the title because I think autism is a funnier word, but this is the neurodivergent matrix of gender. This is a very serious gender framework, and I want you to take it extremely seriously. I am taking it extremely seriously. This is a functional framework that you can take to your local scientist. All right, come with me. Come with me. Come on. Shit. You coming? I have it. I have the framework. Hang on. This is the neurodivergent gender matrix. As you can see, we have 4 quadrants, 2 axes. On the x-axis, we have feminine, 2 masculine. On the y-axis, we have high order, 2 high chaos. Forget everything that Jordan Peterson has ever said. This is the only order in chaos that matters. So, presentations differ along these 2 axes, and they result in 4 gendered presentations of neurodivergency. Let's take a look. Up first, we've got the gremlin quadrant. Now, this is a feminine quadrant. It is a feminine presentation to be a gremlin. Another thing to clarify right off the bat is that feminine and masculine is not female and male. These are the feminine and masculine presentations. Just because you present yourself in a feminine way in the other areas of your life does not necessarily mean that you are in the feminine quadrants of the neurodivergent gender matrix. You can be an incredibly masculine presenting person and still find yourself in the feminine presentation quadrants, and vice versa. Obviously. Do we understand that? Does that make sense to you? Okay, let's proceed. Now, in order to demonstrate what these presentations look like in the wild, I'm going to be using sitcom characters, particularly from Community, from Parks and Recreation, and from another one, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This video better turn out good because I put a lot of work into this and I've got to get it shot in like 35 minutes now. Okay, so in the gremlin quadrant. Now the first sitcom character for the gremlin quadrant is April Ludgate.
You ever found a dead body in the trash? Or body parts? Like a torso or a head? Please say head.
CJ the X has described this quadrant as the tricksters, and that is correct. The second that we have for the gremlin quadrant is Gina Linetti.
I was thinking how I would make the perfect American president based upon my skill set, dance ability, and bloodlust.
Absolute gremlin, absolute menace of a woman. Love her to death. Gremlins are dangers to society. They're high chaos, high femme, and very dangerous. I don't like how that's arranged. That's much better. The next quadrant that we have is the Binder Girl quadrant. In the Binder Girl quadrant, we have Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Cruise itineraries hot off the laminator. Who's ready for some nonstop, totally scheduled fun?
Oh.
And we have Annie Edison from Community.
Wait, please, just wait. I'm sorry, but I need to know who took my pen.
Both very obvious, very pure binder girls, high femme, high order. In the next quadrant, we have the dinosaur guy. In this quadrant, we have Chris Pratt, Any Variation. I'm particularly thinking of Andy from Parks and Recreation here, but really any Chris Pratt will do.
When April was born, I was already in 3rd grade, which means if we were friends back then, I'd have been hanging out with a baby. I don't know anything about infant care. My God, I could have killed her.
And we also have Jake Peralta.
I wasn't hurt that badly. The doctor said all my bleeding was internal. That's where the blood's supposed to be.
Extremely high chaos man. Might explain why he gets along so well with Gina Linetti. However, it is on the masculine end of the spectrum. In the 4th and final quadrant, we have the train guy. In this quadrant, we have Captain Raymond Holt.
Drum roll, please. That's your drum roll?
When a tempo isn't specified, any reasonable person would default to lento.
Well,
And we have Ron Swanson.
Weren't you a pirate last year?
Yes, this is my Halloween costume.
I hope that these examples adequately demonstrate what the presentation is in each of these quadrants. If they don't, I'm also going to demonstrate what happens when you have a presentation that is cusping between the quadrants. Cusping across both Gremlin and Binder Girl, we have Leslie Knope.
But you know what? I'm actually feeling very zen about this.
Are you Ben Wyatt?
Yeah.
Okay, I need that DVD in the control room.
She loves a binder, but she's also the biggest gremlin in the world. It's the duality of woman. On the cusp between Binder Girl and Train Guy, we have Benjamin Wyatt, who I had the biggest crush on when I was 16.
So, how you liking Pawnee?
There are a lot of cars. I mean, not too many trucks and stuff, but, you know.
Cool.
This is where I get a little controversial. So, for the cusp between Train Guy and Dinosaur Guy, I've got Chris Traeger.
I take care of my body above all else. Diet, exercise, supplements, positive thinking. Scientists believe that the first human being who will live 150 years has already been born. I believe I am that human being.
Feel free to argue with me on that one if you want to, but you do have to supply me with a better example for someone on this cusp because I've got nothing. And even more controversially, on the cusp between Dinosaur Guy and Gremlin, we have Rosa Diaz.
I'm fine at parties. I just stand in the middle of the room and don't say anything.
Now, I feel like people's biggest argument with that is going to be that she's not in the same quadrant as Captain Holt. Now, that is because ability to emote is not one of the variables that we are measuring here. Just because they both speak in a monotone and do not like to express their feelings does not mean that they are the same gender presentation. However, I do grant that there is a bit of Train Guy to Rosa Diaz. There's something about her that gives a little bit of Train Guy, and I'm willing to hear your argument, but do not base your argument on the fact that she shares some similarities with Captain Holt. In terms of where Ann Perkins belongs on the quadrants, I thought about this for a long time. The problem with Ann Perkins is that she is not allowing herself to be neurodivergent enough. She should consider being more neurodivergent. And if you feel that you don't belong in any of these quadrants or anywhere along this spectrum, you should consider trying to be more neurodivergent. These quadrants have implications for relationships. As you can see, Jake Peralta and Amy Santiago opposite sides of the chaos spectrum. Now that's going to be a high conflict relationship, not a bad relationship, but boy, is it going to be interesting. That's why they're the primary couple of the show, because there's a lot of conflict there that you can focus on. You can see we also have Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt on opposing cusps of Binder Girl. They share Binder Girl in common, but they have enough differences to keep things interesting. You can also see April Ludgate and Chris Pratt opposing between feminine and masculine, but the same level of chaos. And that's why that relationship just works from the get-go. They get together after like 6 episodes and they stay together for the rest of the show. And it's kind of not that interesting, but it is fun to see them be little chaos goons together. You may note that there are no couples in the same quadrant that I can think of. Again, if you've got an example, you're going to have to let me know. I came up with this yesterday, and then I spent all of today making this. But I would like to put forward the theory that it is impossible to be attracted to someone who is in the same quadrant as you. It would just be like dating yourself, which would be pretty weird. It would not be interesting at all to you, them, or the hypothetical audience. I'd also like to put forward a theory of why I can't get a boyfriend. This is my little tag. Absolutely dead center. Perfectly balanced across all vectors. However, you can understand the predicament that this puts me in. I am touching every single one of these quadrants. I am never different enough from someone to have an interesting relationship, and I will die alone. That said, I am in very good company, because who do we have here? Abed Nadir.
Abed.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm being myself.
Go be yourself by Jenny.
But I wouldn't go over there.
How do you know that?
A lifetime of observation, mostly.
Well, do you think there's a version of yourself that might go over there?
Absolutely.
Could you be him?
Okay.
This gender matrix has broad implications on society at large. I think it'll help me prove my theory that neurotypicals don't exist, because every single person that you've ever met can fit into this matrix somewhere, and every single one of these guys is undoubtedly neurodivergent. Where does the neurotypical go on this chart? That's all I'm saying. I don't think that they're real. I've never met one. Have you? Just for a fun activity that's only going to please me, I'm going to put my favorite video essayists up on this chart. This would be distasteful if I was diagnosing anyone online, but as we've established, neurotypicals don't exist, and so I'm not diagnosing anyone with anything. See if you can guess where they're gonna go. CJ the X. Gremlin, obvious. H-Bomber Guy. Dinosaur Guy. Lindsay Ellis. Binder Girl. Sean. Train Guy. Big Joel. In the middle with me, bitch. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely argue with me on this one, because I really need to refine it if I'm going to submit it for a Nobel Peace Prize. I'll put your name in the contributors if you help me get a Nobel Peace Prize for this, for the Matrix. I understand that this is pretty controversial, and there are many groups who are out to stop my research, but if you want to support me, just put some money in an envelope and send it to my house. Goodbye. How about you? Where do you go? Where would you put? Like and subscribe.